Hey everybody, Shay here with a whole new series that I'm very excited to be kicking off, where it's basically going to document my journey into manga. I'm going to be starting with My Hero Academia, Volume 1, Chapter 1, as you can see by the title in the overlay that I've now set up on this as well, just to clean things up. I got a lot more light, as you can see. Look how clear everything is. Look how clear everything is. Even like, okay, granted this camera still doesn't focus and it's never going to focus, but I mean, that's not bad with some light shining on it. Of course, I open straight up to the booty shot like I did in the first video I did of My Hero Academia. If you haven't checked that out, by all means go check that out, because I go a lot deeper into narrative analysis of the breakdown of the first chapter to see how closely it aligned with like Western conventions of storytelling and stuff like that, because I'm kind of analyzing. Part of this journey is me trying to just figure out why manga storytelling is becoming such a huge thing in North America and around the world. Like I've been reading some news about Euro manga, for example, things like that, like its influence on French comics, which is crazy. In any case, that other video goes into a lot more detail with the breakdown stuff. That's not what this is going to be. This is basically me. I'm going to reread. So this isn't going to be a first pass read anymore, but because of my OCD, I don't want to start a series without an episode 1 for chapter 1, right? So watch the other thing if you want. Stick around for this one if you're new here. This is going to be a series for every chapter. That is what I'm committing to. So without further ado, let's get into chapter 1. I also pulled up just a quick little bullet list, because even though the other breakdown is on the other episode, I want to still keep that in mind when I'm reading these stories, just because it keeps, I still love analyzing narrative. And so I'm going to do that again, but this time I'm going to be using a streamlined method called the story spine. And I'll explain that as I go, of course, and let's get started. I mean, I'm literally, I'm like, this is the first episode of something that could be massive. I have 24 volumes already purchased, and I'm like, I really want to read manga, but I really want to do some content about the journey of reading manga. So that's a long enough intro, huh? Okay, let's get into it. So My Hero Academia by Kohei Horikoshi. Feel free to correct my pronunciation along the way. That's also part of the journey. I've gotten some pretty decent feedback in the comments, but for example, I'll just get into it as I start reading and flipping through some pages. Otherwise, this is going to be a 1-hour video. I don't intend for these to be very long episodes. This is the first episode, so I kind of give a premise, the premise of the promise of what I'm hoping to achieve with the series. This first chunk here, it's like a fourth of this book. I think if I recall correctly, when I was doing the other video, it's like 60 pages. Whereas like other chapters might be somewhere closer to 20 pages or something like that, 20 to 20 something. And so this video will be long because I'm kind of giving you the introduction to what all this is going to be. Feel free to leave comments, and let's have an exchange in the comments as I go. That'll be part of the experience as well. Okay, so we have the first page here. We're going to get it's starting with a foot and a hand. I mean, that's just creepy. I don't know what that is right now. It's fine. I'm sorry about the blurring. It's fine. It's fine. Let's move on. So this is my third series to be collected into graphic novels. Forgive me if this sounds reckless, but the thing I prioritize most when drawing manga is creating something that I can enjoy. This one might not remain popular, but for now, I'll just be happy if everyone finds it as fun as I do. Kohei Horikoshi. I feel like I never read that the first time. I might have flipped straight to here. In any case, that was a kind of a cool little message. And I mean, can you imagine like his state of mind? For example, things like this. I'm going to derail probably often. Okay. So things like this. Imagine being in the mind state where this is your third series and you're like, I think it'd be cool to make like these young dudes. They're going to go to a superhero academy, and most of the world has superhero powers except the protagonist, at least at the start. And people might not enjoy this, but screw it. I do. So let's have fun. And then it's like, bang, massive success. All right, so we have My Hero Academia, Volume 1, Shonen Jump here, manga edition. And we have the title of this, which is you can see on the screen on that banner, is Izuku Midoriya Origin. So of course the gut feeling right there is that this is going to be an origin story, because all superhero stories need an origin story. We've got a table of contents here for what's in the book. Yeah, there you go. So 60 pages for the first chapter. So it's pretty massive, and then it starts to go to about 20 to 26 or so, something like that. Yeah, because see, there's a 20 there, 111 to 131. let's move on. We're getting the first page here is the premise, of the theme, and we immediately get introduced to the main character. Of course, we have Deku here. Now, his name is, as we've been told, this one threw me off for a while because I got confused while reading the story because, I'm not familiar with the names, and so just absorbing some of these names and maintaining them takes me a little longer. But Izuku Midoriya, I assume that was the main character, but of course, then we get here, and we get this secondary character, who's the bully of the story, calling him Deku. So Deku, the quirkless wonder, and that threw me off. I'm like, is that a nickname? Is that like a kiddie name? Is that like, where did that nickname come from? I don't know, and it doesn't really matter right now. But I know that he's referred to as both of these names, and yeah, it's all good. So we're getting here the premise of like, yeah, he's got no powers. They're giving that to us really early, and he's still, he's gonna get bullied, but he's protecting someone, and so he always has that hero mindset of wanting to protect, be the protector, even though he's weak and scrawny and small and all that stuff. And so in a single page, the premise of this entire series, and the hero, the protagonist, the journey you're gonna go on, is very, very expertly done on this first page. And then boom, you got not really a splash page, but sort of. You got one panel here, and then and then a spread here. That's all one panel right there. But it's you're looking at a gigantic battle, or some a giant villain. So giant villain, but of course, as we're soon going to see, there's what's her name, Mountain Lady. Or something. Anyways, Mountain Girl. She's right here. Whoever this is. But I thought that, the names amuse me because they're sort of simple, but that's what makes them amusing, is because they're just superhero names. They can just have fun with it, Set the tone for the book as well, Anyway, so let's move on. So, of course, he's in awe, right? He's in awe because of these awesome hero fights that he gets to see. And then when we have a splash page, and we enter in with another bit of a premise page, a setup for the world itself, and of course the introduction of All Might, who's going to be important. And yeah, so that's the whole setup. Let's see, is it 80%? So bioluminescent baby born. Of course, that's going to be an All Might scenario here. Everyone has powers. Yeah, 80% of the world's population consists of superhumans with special abilities. I'm obviously going to be spoiling things, by the way, so if you don't want to be spoiled, obviously you shouldn't be here. But this is more like, if you want to read along with me as well and kind of, flip through the pages as I'm talking about it, it's kind of like a reaction video. That's literally, that's in spirit. That's exactly what it is. Okay, so we're going to have these heroes coming in to fight this giant villain. We got some introduction of some characters here, which gives us the context of like, there's heroes and there's villains. It's pretty simple, straightforward. How that gets decided and why people go into those vocations, who cares? Who cares? Just have fun. So let's talk about a little bit about this early. You want to just move on a little bit? Yeah, let's move on a little bit. So I'm kind of flipping through these because I have already read this, like I said. In later episodes, I will be reading and going slower and obviously reacting to some of the things that are said as well. But right now, I'm just literally doing a video test here, a lighting test, a sound check, and trying to establish just how I'm going to be approaching these, I'm always amused by just that position. It's like, it's a little bit tropey in comic books too, You introduce a female character and it's always in the most sexualized position possible, but like, she's giant, you know what I mean? That's what makes it more amusing to me, and I chuckle every single time. Even there, it's a whole different shot. Selling, of course, lady hair, beautiful shiny hair. This is a promo. Oh my god, this is so derailed. Is this what this is going to be? It's just going to be derailed the entire time? Yeah, probably. All right, so whoa. Okay, see, things like this are fun to comment on, but I can't, because I didn't notice this the first time, and this camera's not, you're not going to see it. But even the word balloon there, it says mutter, 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 and it's just him talking to himself. Gigantification, huh? It's a common and quite powerful quirk, but could the threat of public property destruction limit its use? Well, depends on whether or not she can manipulate her size at all. So he knows his stuff. He really wants to be this. He wants all the stuff he can't be. But I love that it's like mutter, 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 and that makes it part of the balloon. It's things like this that I've come to love about manga, even as early as I've kind of come into it. They take so much they have so much freedom. It's not that they have freedom. Everyone has the freedom to like have creative approaches for visual storytelling, you know, but I feel like manga really does it. Like they really does it. Really do it. Not just in like things like this, which I noticed on the second read, but you know, in character expressions. Like that expression is just goofy. It's goofy, but it works to convey something else in the storytelling, you know? And that's what's great about this stuff, man. Okay, so now we're going to get into the whole, you know, poor Midoriya, Deku. He wants to, of course, get into Superhero Academy, but he's being made fun of by, of course, the bully that was introduced at the beginning of this story. This does feel a little bit like a summary because, okay, I've read this twice already. So it's like I got the first story and I analyzed the hell out of it, and so I really had to like put the pieces together and figure out what it was doing. And you know what, it'll help me keep this this particular episode 1 trimmed down a little bit, even though I can already see the counter flying up there and I haven't really shut up. So we're gonna just roll with it. So it's kind of redundant for some people, but in any case, let's move on. Again, freaky expressions here. Deku's expression really goes nuts with this, but I mean, it's not just that. It's just not just Deku. It's just it's characters in general have these exaggerated expressions that really do convey the emotion behind what they're saying as well. Kachan, that's his name. That's this dude's name. Okay, we'll find. Maybe I should find his name, huh? Katsuki Bakugo. Gee, so I forgot about the story spine element of all this. I distracted myself. So the way this works is that there's 8 parts, at least in the one I'm looking at. I've seen more simplified versions, but this one goes like this. So the first part of the story spine is the beginning, right? So the beginning is once upon a time. Okay, well, once upon a time, we have a weak, frail little boy here named Deku, and he wants to protect people, but he's bullied for his size and the fact that he's quirkless. Okay, and so every day is the next step of this. So every day he thinks about the possibilities of one day being a great hero, even though he should know he has no powers, but he keeps believing that one day he could be a great hero. And then of course we eventually get to, and this is like evidence of that step right there. And then the third part of this is but one day. So but one day, and now the one day is the event. It's sort of like the catalyst that triggers Act 1 to go into Act 2. And so right here is we're getting the setup leaning into that, which is we got the school event, we got the reintroduction of the bully here, of saying like he's going to be the best hero ever. He's even going to surpass All Might in power. And so now we're getting the conflict, a character that is going to help with kind of poking at the protagonist in order to what's the term for that? Damn it, I always forget words when I need them. The foil to our protagonist. Okay, so he's going to be the foil. He's basically the character who's going to poke at the protagonist to move them along and motivate them at times. Not always, at least from what I've read right now. There's other things that come up because, of course, you're in a superhero story that's going to have supervillains. There's going to be a bunch of things that are going to be the foil for the protagonist. But you do have the potential antagonist. I don't know, don't spoil me, but but he's at least a secondary character that is going to help tell this story. There's usually a third character, which is the kind of companion character, usually the romantic interest, stuff like that, that is going to be the supportive character, the one that helps move them along and be the balance. But I don't think, outside of being All Might, it could be another character later on. We'll determine that as we go. But anyways, we're looking for the third part of this now, which is going to be but one day. Now you think it might be this, but no, this is too early. We're just the story is just setting up that there's this sludge monster, or muck monster, or whatever they might have called them, that is in downtown, 1202 downtown. Thief! Someone stop him! And it's not, it's a dude with the power to turn into sludge. And so we get introduced to basically a mook villain, or it could be bigger later on. But right now, he's just going to be something that's going to possibly come up in Act 3. Because this is being introduced here in Act 1, in the kind of the phase of the story where Deku has to find that trigger that makes them go on this journey of being something more, the path, the adventure, we're getting introduced to the possible conflict that's going to happen from Act 2 to Act 3. And because right away they introduce them, but then we're back in school. And by the way, you can't be this, you don't have powers, etc., etc. I am speeding through part of this. Again, future episodes, I'll go page by page and I'll talk about the stuff that I'm reading and react to it, because obviously it'll be fresh and I'll be doing the first pass of the read. Okay, so, and then we flip through here. And of course, he's going to get home. He's still super happy. Deku's always happy. He's always happy. He's always got a smile. That's important. That's an important theme in this first book. I love it right there. It's even right there. But that's the whole thing. I forget. And he's smiling. Yeah, I do want to find that because it was kind of a cool line to kind of read the first time around and second time around. It was this big disaster a while back in the aftermath. Are you seeing this? He's already saved 100 people. Wow. And it's only been 10 minutes so far. Wow. A certain hero made his debut, and he's smiling. Fear not. Why, you ask? 'Cause I am here. Grin. Bang. You could almost see the shine come off his teeth. And then it's like, oh, wow. Again, simplified art, which is great. I love these emotion lines too. They help to kind of carries over from here to here. Anyways, good stuff. But in this scene, you know, this like happy moment of him thinking about like, you know, what inspires him and what he wants to strive to be someday. You know, he looks up to this All Might character, you know, and then it's the doctor basically says, no, there's no hope for him. No, he's basically a nobody. Because relative to this society, I mean, that's how it felt. That's how it felt when I read it, when the doctor said that. But more because of how the mom also took that information and then conveyed it to her son. I thought it was a little bit asshole-ish of the mom. The way she approached it. She made it really feel like a super depressing, like yeah, it felt a little bit traumatic. But anyways, he still holds his hope alive, you know, and she walks away kind of like, oh boy, is this going to impact my kid? But like he really doesn't want it he won't accept it. He doesn't accept it. Oh yeah, there was like the whole thing with like a sixth toe or something. Is that something silly like this? Like it's some mutation? It has to do with the presence or absence of the extra joint in the pinky toe. Oh, it's an extra joint. But I love it. It's like a mutation across the population of the world. In any case. Okay, but he doesn't want to let go of this hope, you know? And then he'll sniffling, you know? A super cool hero like that. That's what I want to be. And she's like, don't have these crazy impossible goals. You're going to destroy your life by thinking about all these things you want to be, but you'll never be able to become Deku. I'm so sorry. Because it felt like did she feel like she failed him, you know? Because she didn't pass on the mutation, and so he can't be better. He can't be something. He can't be great. You know? It's just depressing. That's all. Anyways, so that's the moment. That's but one day. For me, that's what it feels like. Because it's but one day he gets told he's doesn't have any quirks. He's never going to have quirks. And to just accept it. And so that becomes the catalyst moment where we kick off Act 2, which Act 2 becomes about the journey. It's going to be about him, us learning about the setting a little bit more. They're going to, you know, explore the components in here, which of course they immediately give us the Gloop Monster. I'm just going to call him the Gloop Monster because right there. And what that means. Now, I thought this was Deku at first, and it's not. I know now because I've read this twice. But it's just a kid. So this kid right here, Goop Monster, comes up. He's trying to flee, remember, because that 12 o'clock news. And then he takes over this kid. So he's jumping from host to host. So that's more context. And of course, All Might comes in. And then smash. So we get some of All Might's crazy powers. Now this is where manga really starts to excel. And it's great with the pacing too. Because this one doesn't have as many. This is actually a pretty active comic compared to Demon Slayer, which was a lot of talking heads up front and then some action here and there. But this friggin' comic, man, this is action central. You got all these crazy action lines, which is of course a staple for manga. And just the power of this hit, man, bang. And you have the Gloop Monster, like the Gloop Monster itself becomes the effects on the page. I think that's a pretty awesome thing to see. I mean, that's just disgusting, you know, just the eyeball barely hanging on there. But yeah, punches the Goop Monster off of the victim, saves the day. Now I don't know how that punch didn't annihilate the dude inside, but I guess he's right there. So All Might is good enough to be able to punch the Gloop Monster, make him explode off the victim without impacting the victim himself. Where was I? Okay, so we go into part 4 now. Part 4, 5, and 6 is the middle of the story and part of the story spine structure, which is all about just something happens, something happens, something happens. And everything that happens is a compound that ends up building the foundation of what's going to give our hero the motivation to push through into the climax, and then obviously have that moment where they face off against something, and something comes of it, something that changes their life. I mean, that's in the first comic for sure. It's going to feel like that because you got to do that setup. You got to do the hero's journey setup. But in any case, the middle is because of that, because of that, because of that. In this structure, it's the rule of threes that they're using here. I've seen the simplified format, which is just one or two of those. Just kind of like it's a more broader because of that. So because of that right now, that being he's quirkless, but he still wants to be a hero. Because of that, he still never loses that enthusiasm. It still becomes as part of his spirit. It's part of his identity, kind of to never let go of that hope and that dream, that like justice. He wants to be this thing, and then if he meets, and because of that, he eventually, not because of he meets All Might. He stumbles upon All Might, but because of that, his interaction with All Might, because of that, he meets All Might, and then he hangs onto his leg and he goes for the ride, which of course could have gotten him killed. But also, this is All Might trying to retreat because, as we're going to discover, All Might has a problem with maintaining this form. He can only keep it for a limited amount of time. And so Deku's kind of, he is invading his personal space by doing what he did. But Deku being Deku, because of that, he needs to know. He needs to know what All Might thinks of his position in life. Is that there's no reason for him to have been compelled to do something as crazy as this. But all of these moments have led to this moment. And then we get introduced to our foil again, which, of course, Gloop Monster, foil, bring those two things together. And now we have an escalation of the Goop Monster, with just a kind of a no-name character, kind of getting defeated by All Might. We're going to have now the secondary character, who's the foil, be taken over by this Goop Monster. So this is the second scenario of this, and of course that's going to make me anticipate that there's going to be a third if this is awesome storytelling, which it was. At least it was crafted in a way. Anyways, he's shivering here because he's really struggling to hold this form, and he's in a predicament now where he might have to give it up. Again, the face there, the liberty to like do stuff like that with their expressions helps express the scene. I mean, he's saying scary, but I mean, he looks like a gaunt right there. Like he shouldn't have done that. But in any case, even without a quirk, can I still be a hero? That's all Deku wanted. He was willing to put himself at risk there because of this, because of being told he couldn't be a hero, and his mom sort of like making him feel even shittier for it. He then meets his hero, and he wants to ask his hero, can I still be a hero, even if I don't have a quirk? And I'm not reacting to this fresh right now, but it's sort of like hitting me even as I read this. It's because he's holding his form and barely able to do it, and eventually he can't. He's got to say that he's got this injury, doesn't allow him to hold his form. But even in this exchange at this point, he's been revealed that All Might isn't all powerful all the time. He gets called when he's needed, and he always defeats things with a smile. But Deku at this point does get All Might basically says, no, if you want to be a hero, just be a cop. So you got the second instance where Deku has these goals in life, but he has these people he looks up to, his mom, now All Might, basically saying, no, just, there's practical, pragmatic goals for people like you, the unquirked people like you. So just be a cop, So, and then we have a because of that. So because of that here would be, of course, he's, left kind of destroyed again. Emotionally distraught. We're gonna get brought back to this Goop Monster taking over. I forgot his name. No, damn it! Forgot his name. Bakugo taking over Bakugo. He's losing control. Boom! And now he's rampaging. The Goop Monster is rampaging with Bakugo. And so because of that, Deku is left thinking, okay, what am I gonna do now? Even the best of the best said it. Don't cry. You knew already, right? This is reality. It's because I knew that I tried so damn hard. See, he knows he can't be anything, so he tries to be something. It's simple storytelling, but I think it's a pretty dense, there's some pretty dense subtextual stuff going on here. It's not really subtextual, it's pretty much on the surface. That's the other great thing with manga. They really do tell surface level storytelling, because they're basically explaining to you what they're trying to say to you, even when they're not hiding things like this. But there's this emotional sublayer. I'm not going to say subtextual, but there's an emotional sublayer to all of this that is constantly distracted by these events going on. That's how I would kind of say this. This really is just kind of an overall review of things, huh? I'm telling you, in the future videos, it's going to be a live read and review. It's going to be a little bit more dynamic with all of that, okay? Just stick with it. It's OCD, man. I need to have an episode 1. How do you expect me to do a series without an episode 1? Okay, so there's some commotion going on, so we got another because of that. So because you... Let me go back, because this story spine structure actually helps me kind of try to organize my ideas. So because of that, because he was told by yet another person to just accept being a nobody, because that's your station in life, he tries harder. We have another because of that coming up. There's 3 of them in this particular structure, which is going to lead us to the climax, of course, if for those of you who have read it, and because I've read it twice. I know where this is going to go. So, boom, boom, boom. We got the glute monster. Let's speed through. Look at this page. Like, bam. This is him like, no one's running in here to save this dude, right, from happening. He finds out it's Bakugo. Why am I having such a hard time remembering your name, dude? Bakugo. Oh, good for me. Does he realize it's Bakugo? I forget. Does he know who's in there when he runs in? It almost doesn't matter, though. I mean, that's not the point. Okay, I can't remember, and I'm kind of skimming it. But, he's like, it's my fault. All Might can't do anything because he, of course, like held All Might back. So he's created a bit of a conflict here because had he not held him back, he would have been able to keep the form and been able to be here on time, And so we have this guy can't be caught. We have to wait for someone with the right quirk to show up. Hang in there. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Someone will come to save you soon. A hero's bound to come. Look at that. That's a hero's bound to come. I'll talk about stuff like this too. The formatting of how to compose like a comic so that you're sort of creating this pace, this flow with the way you structure your panels. The faster you have panels lined up, it means that things are kind of happening quicker. When you have a panel shot, you're trying to get an establishing shot there. You're trying to establish a moment that's more contextual to the smaller events going on. And then there's this idea of like the page flip. There's like the line said before the page flip because you want to get the reader to go, oh my God, what's bound to come? What's bound to come? And there's even ellipses. I mean, it's blurred. I'm sorry. But boom. And then it's like, oh shit, it's Bakugo. I mean, that's what I'm assuming here. I mean, there's no words on this page, right? But you can look at the eyes, and they're really taking advantage of like this. This is not a 2-page spread, but it does bleed into one of the pages here because back to what I was talking about with the other page, the composition here. So you got these big squares, almost half pages here devoted to these extreme close-ups. Boom, you got like this person really needs help. Oh my gosh, it's Bakugo because. How do we know that? Well, because the next one is these eyes. This realization of him realizing who this is in here, right? And the fear in his eyes, right? This is Bakugo. Like this is the guy who's like his bully. He's like the tough guy. He's the guy who shouldn't be afraid, right? And yet here he is, and he's terrified. He realizes a hero's bound to come, right? Well, they're not coming, and so he has to be the hero. That's great. So because of that, that's your third because of that. It's great structure, even on this simplified form here. It's working out. It's looking good. So now we're going to trigger the climax. It's of course our hero Deku charging in, quirkless hero. You got to assume that at 80% population, there's a bunch of people in this crowd who do have powers. They just either don't have the confidence or they don't have the right powers to be able to go and capture this dude, right? Okay, so he does say it's that kid, Deku. So that's the glute monster saying. So it might be a student in school. I do forget some details like that. But why am I running? What am I doing? Right. So he doesn't even know. It's an impulse. It's an impulse. So we have the climax. So part 7 here of the story spine until finally Deku is spurred into action. Is that the correct word? Is motivated into action, even though he doesn't know why he's doing it. He's doing it because his spirit is telling him to do it. It's part of his identity to like be a hero, even if he acknowledges it or not. And so we have, of course, the fight with the glute monster, even though it's going to go terribly wrong for Deku. And then we have our third part of this takeover, right? Took over the NPC. I'm just calling him the NPC. Took over Bakugo. And so the third one is, of course, the risk of this glute monster is going to take over Deku because, of course, rule of threes. And So he grabs. So All Might still comes in. We have a big single page splash page of the Detroit Smash to spread the Gloop Monster apart again, so that the Gloop Monster can't. I'm gonna presume can't move, because you can see him moving right here. Just a bit longer, so stop getting in my way. So the Gloop Monster is gonna take over Deku here. Does he have a death wish? He'll die for nothing, but not if All Might has anything to do with it, because now All Might has been moved by this scene of this nobody running in to be a hero where no one else would. And so that inspires All Might to push himself, get rid of the Gloop Monster, at least for now. And then we do have the bully, of course, having to come to terms with the fact that he was saved by the Quirkless Wonder. And so now we're entering the 8th phase here, the end. We're going to do the wrap-up, the resolution. And so we have here, afterwards, the heroes collected the villain's scattered body. Seems like the police managed to get him into custody. The heroes were really mad at me. There was absolutely no need for you to put yourself in danger. Kachan, on the other hand, got all the praise. So our antagonist, I'm going to put that in quotes, because I don't know. You were real tough out there, and that quirk, that's another dude here saying that. Consider becoming my sidekick once you go pro. And he has a small smile there. Now, but I mean, I did find that that's a kind of a cool little balance there, because of course you have All Might, going with a smile. He's like suffering at this point for having pushed himself, but he does do it with a smile before he takes off. But I like the balance there, where it ends the page with Bakugo giving a kind of a smirk as well, even though he knows, like, you were screwed there, dude. And then we have the flip page here. I wanted to apologize to All Might, but I guess I'll just leave a message on his website when I get home. Hey, Deku. Rumble, 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 rumble. I never asked you to save me. As if you could, huh? Well, I could have beaten him myself. How dare a quirkless failure like you pity me, trying to win me over? Don't you dare mock me. Stupid nerd. I don't know why I said it like that. What a tough guy. And then he walks back. And of course, he's just going to do this small little smirk smile. He knows what he did. He doesn't need any confirmations. He's right, though. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't change anything, but still, I'm glad. Now I can finally focus on a more realistic future. So he's willing to accept All Might's suggestion here of just be a cop. And he's come to terms with it. It's closed that loop. And so we have the climax until finally he gets into an altercation with a villain, even though he has no powers, and All Might saves him, and then the end is, and ever since then he's come to terms with maybe he'll be someone normal, but nah. All Might comes back and basically says, hey kid, let me just read this page over again, because this is a great ending of this first chapter. Of all the people at the scene, it was only you, timid and quirkless, who acted. You spurred me to action. Most of the top heroes show signs of greatness, even as children. Many of them claim that. Their bodies simply moved before they could think. So that's All Might in his simplified form. Kind of giving him kudos, for having that gut reaction, move to action, For some reason, I remembered what my mom said. He's about to cry again, because of course he can't be anybody. His hero told him he couldn't be anybody, but he could if he just was a normal hero instead of a superpowered hero. I'm sorry, Izuku. I'm sorry. That's what happened to you back there. Yes. The running into action blindly. No, Mom. Back then, what I wanted you to say was, but of course, he's hearing this from his hero, but he's thinking about that first moment with his mom telling him and kind of confirming that he couldn't be anybody, that he was a nobody. He got that darkness came from his mom, which always, that impacts me, man. But anyways, all he wanted to hear her say was, you can be a hero, to not have that doubt, holding him back. Even though it didn't. Anyways, fantasy became reality. I forgot to mention this, but this is the story of how I became a great hero. Yeah, so basically he had his hero tell him that he needed a quirkless wonder to remind him what it took to be a hero and what those qualities were that he looked up to, and where the story is going to go, which we know is going to be the inheritance here of the power set. Yeah, these bonus pages are pretty cool. At the end of the chapter, they kind of give these summaries of the characters and just some behind the scenes stuff here. So you have All Might, age unknown. He is height 220 centimeters. I'm gonna have to convert that, but I'm gonna say large. Favorite things: Yakushima, cedars, and movies. And then we have behind the scenes. So drawing a single frontal shot of him uses up 1 or 2 pen nibs. He's terrible for my fuel economy. What? The front of him? Why does it use up 2 pen nibs? Right, because he's so massive? Is it a joke? I thought he was really cool when I first drew him, but at the meeting with the editorial department, they said, "Who'd look up to this old guy? I don't want to be like him." And wouldn't he be better as a pretty boy? I love it. My manga buddies said, "Who's this weird, cheerful old dude?" But their criticism only fanned the flames. Thanks to them, now I give it my all when drawing him. So thanks for that, guys. The supplement. The whites of his eyes are all black when in his true form, so the skinny form. He's so gaunt, and they're perpetually in shadow. Only his pupils glisten, reflecting the true strength and dignity of the symbol of peace. It's like everything that his muscle form represents is condensed into those pupils, but I'm really not a good enough artist to properly express that. Sorry. I guess everything he's trying to convey in those little tiny dots in the blackness of his eyes, his pupils, is that hope, the little bit of hope within the pupils in his skinny form. Anyways, I can't stop watching videos of people's manga collections that are in the thousands, hundreds, but also thousands. And that's basically inspired me this week to finally just get this thing started. And yeah, that's a wrap for Volume 1, Chapter 1, Episode 1. And every episode will be a new chapter of this particular series. I'm not sure if I'll do multiple series at this point in parallel. I feel like I just want to push through My Hero Academia, and then we'll move on to another series. That way I can stay with the themes and with the characters. There's a lot of characters that seem to get introduced, that will get introduced in this series, because it's a school of superpowered kids, so there's a lot of names to remember, etc., etc., etc. So I'm going to try to focus on one series at a time, but I generally don't trust myself, because I see other series come in, I look at the art, I look at the covers, I do the showcasing, and then I sort of kind of get motivated to want to kind of crack into them and see what the stories are about. And I'm already creating a spreadsheet of other series I want to buy. Yes, it's true. It's true. It's all those friggin' showcase videos of people's collections. It's kind of motivating me to kind of just go for it. Just get into this. So I don't know what the schedule is going to be for the uploads for this series, but it will be a series and it will be pretty thorough, as this episode was likely evidence of. But I'm likely going to try to lean these out along the way, or maybe not. I'm back to one of those, I don't know, I'm just going to do these things, and as long as people are enjoying them down below, I'm going to keep doing them one way until I get feedback that tells me that people prefer a different way. Okay, so I'll catch you in the next episode. Don't forget to explore, engage, and inspire everybody.